On a day where Arsenal had to win, they could not find a way. Held to a 0-0 draw against Everton at the Emirates Stadium in what was a major blow for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. So from Arsenal's major problem to Mikel Arteta's massive tactical mistake, the truth behind Gabriel Martinelli's future, and where Arsenal go from here. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Baz14. Welcome back to your boy's channel. And boy, this was a really hard performance to watch, a really hard result to take as well, and it has given us a lot to break down. So as per, smash a like if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But starting off with Arsenal's big problem. Going into the game, there was some breaking news, and that of course was the return of both Gabriel Magalhaes and a start for Miles Skelly. Miles making his first ever Premier League start. And a lot of Arsenal fans were happy with that lineup. Not only because Miles deserved the start, but with Timber back at right back and Miles at left back, a natural left footer and right footer. In front of them, Mikel Merino as well. The Arsenal side in the first half had more balance, as Miles dropped a 7.1 rating in 69 minutes, winning 4 out of 5 ground duels and completing 98% of his passes. Timber back on his natural side as well, dropping a 7.2, heavily involved with 96 touches and 65 accurate passes. In the first half, Arsenal, dominant in terms of possession, had a far higher XG and also created the chance of the game. It wasn't vintage Arsenal, but it was definitely a lot better than the second. We were knocking on the door, we were making chances, and it felt like Arsenal were going to score. So come the second half, Arsenal with 80% of the ball, but only a 0.5 XG, not a single big chance created. Mikel Arteta, funnily enough, said after the game, we deserved to win this game. And you can point to the stats that Arsenal had a lot more possession. We entered the final third 81 times, and had a far higher expected threat created, with Everton making a minus 0.1. But let's be honest, Arsenal never looked like scoring. Where in the first half we made some chances, and that is very worrying. Because when you're going for a title and you're trying to force the hand, you're at the Emirates Stadium, you've got the fans around you. This was a must-win game, especially because of Liverpool. Fans around the stadium begging for a goal to go in. This is where I'm looking towards Mikel Arteta. By taking off Miles Skelly and moving Timber to left back, bringing on a defensive midfielder and Partey at right back, alongside Jorginho. How on earth was that meant to force the play in our hand? Was that our best creative setup to break down a stubborn Everton block? Everton had no intention of attacking whatsoever. So if you know you're going to have so much more of the ball, why would you ruin your tempo? Why not throw on 2 attacking midfielders at the same time? Maybe even an overlapping fullback. We saw in the game against Fulham where Arsenal couldn't break them down to win the game, only scoring from a set piece. That having right footers on the left hand side doesn't work. It makes the team completely unbalanced and we lose all rhythm. In this game, Arteta's subs were really costly, as well as really poorly timed. It was only after Odegaard started to actually work his magic, breaking the lines, finding Bukayo Saka, to exactly when he took him off. For Mikel Arteta this year, it feels like his subs are always pre-planned. He knows before the game who he's going to bring on at what time, when sometimes the game states requires different, adapting to what you have and the problems you're facing. Mikel Arteta often gets so much praise for his tactical ability, but in games like this, having seen a similar setup fail against Fulham, why was it going to work in this game here? Why not learn from mistakes and try something different? In a year that a lot of Arsenal fans are very ultra critical, and rightly so, with only 1 trophy in his tenure so far, money spent on a team that he's built. At this stage of the project, the quality of football should be a lot higher. But the issue that Arsenal have is they can't break teams down, while also struggling to adapt to game states. Yes, if we score an early goal and things are in our favour, the team starts to have more confidence and the football becomes a lot more free-flowing. But the moment this team has to face a bit of adversity, where in previous years they were finding winners, this year it just hasn't worked out, and I'm looking towards Mikel Arteta to improve the quality of his subs, not just in terms of time but also in terms of personnel. Moving on to Arteta's mistake. We've talked about his subs so far, and of course the one that stood out the most was the departure of Martin Odegaard. In a game that he wasn't thriving with a 6.7 rating, with 36 accurate passes and 0 key passes, 1 big chance missed as well, missing Arsenal's biggest chance of the game. It's not like he was being ultra creative or deserved to keep his place on the pitch, but the issue I have is how we're using Odegaard's profile. What is clearly a number 8 playing as a number 10, while Odegaard does have a final pass in his locker, it is nowhere near as consistent or as killer as a Kevin De Bruyne. Martin Odegaard is a fantastic footballer to watch when it comes to confidence, when it comes to dropping deeper, setting the tempo, getting the Arsenal team flowing. But when you put him in the final third in a congested area, while he might be able to find Bukayo Saka on the odd occasion, he's not got that same half-space crossing ability to find the far post, make something out of nothing. It was actually the reason why Mikel Arteta signed Fabio Vieira in the first place, a player that has shown at his time in Porto, with 14 assists before signing for Arsenal, that he had more of a consistent final ball. And even Mikel Arteta says after the game, Odegaard's sub was a tactical decision, there was no injury or anything else, but I understand how it works. If Ethan Nwaneri comes in and scores, it's a great sub. If he doesn't, you've taken off your captain. That's football. It was definitely a very bold decision, taking off your captain with 28 minutes remaining for a 17-year-old dropped a 6.2 rating, with only 8 passes all game and 10 touches. Of course, Everton were going to make it difficult. A physical midfielder, organised deep block, but there was an idea behind the sub. Well, Odegaard might be more of an 8. Nwaneri is definitely more of a 10, all about the final action. Hence why in his previous spells for Arsenal coming off the bench, he always tries to shoot and score. But with the right-hand side clearly being targeted, Everton realising that's Arsenal's only real strength. My question is, could Mikel Arteta have played both Odegaard and Nwaneri together, chasing a goal in a must-win game? Instead of throwing on 2 defensive midfielders and parting Jorginho, why not play your captain on the left-hand side, an area of the pitch that he clearly thrives in? Every time you see Odegaard drift to the left, his passing seems to become more incisive in the final third, with a far better angle suited to his left foot, while also being allowed to overlap because he doesn't have to use his right foot. Arsenal have now gone 300 minutes in the Premier League without a non-corner goal. And the issue here isn't set pieces because they are a useful part of the armour. The biggie issue is these numbers here. In terms of Arsenal's open play XG for and against this season, when compared to last year, not only are Arsenal conceding a lot more chances, but we're also creating on a lower level as well. Having spent so much time at Arsenal, teams are now adapting towards Mikel Arteta. There are so many smart managers in this league, able to organise deep blocks that are very hard to break down. That's why we need Mikel Arteta to adapt. Find a new way and a new solution, because what Arsenal do have is personnel. £65 million on Kai Havertz. Martin Odegaard seen as one of the best midfielders in the world. Bukayo Saka seen as world class. There are teams that have less quality that are making far more chances, and that's the bigger issue. Is Mikel Arteta maximising his attackers right now, platforming them in the correct environment to not only play to their strengths, but help Arsenal become a fluid attacking force again? This whole talk of Arsenal being Stoke and Arsenal not being progressive to watch. In a game like today when Arsenal needed a goal, there was such a slow and lethargic tempo. And I get patience as a part of football, but at one point when your team needs a goal and you're at home, why not try Odegaard on the left and play Nwaneri together? Surely having 2 more creative players would give Arsenal a better chance of making something out of nothing. Moving on to the third thing, Martinelli's future. I'm not one to scapegoat because I don't want to, but in terms of Martinelli today dropping a 6.7 rating, up against a 39-year-old Ashley Young with only 1 shot on target all game, 0 out of 4 successful dribbles, and 1 out of 8 ground balls won. It was far from an amazing performance. In a game that you can't even argue about platforms, with Mikel Merino and Miles Lewis-Skelly, 2 left footers behind him giving him better combinations, with Merino making quite a few good runs on the left-hand side. The issue I have with Martinelli right now is a lack of conviction. Yes, defensively he might work hard in track back, but when he arrived at Arsenal, the reason why Arsenal fans loved him straight away is because he was exciting to watch. Able to burst past players with no fear, cooking the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold time and time again. Every time Martinelli got the ball, you used to think something was going to happen. But in 2024, they're lacking confidence, or teams finding out how to play against him, or the lack of ability to go on his left foot, Martinelli's become very one-dimensional. And that is a massive issue if you want to be a top winger. On the right-hand side, you've got Bukayo Saka, who despite teams trying to double and triple team him, is finding ways to make chances week in, week out. Where in 2022-23, Martinelli and Saka were both seen at a similar level. Since then, one forward has gone on to become world class, while the other has definitely plateaued. When you think about the way our team is built, our 2 main ball handlers on the right hand side, Saka and Odegaard, it is a massive priority for the left winger to be a fantastic 1v1 carrier. Right now, Martinelli's playing at a very lackluster level, but even when you change things up and throw Leandro Trossard, who drops a 6.8 rating, 2 out of 4 dribbles and 7 out of 9 passes, the problem here is the heat map. Most of his minutes playing completely out wide as a touchline winger, when we all know Trossard is at his best when closest to the box. A sharpshooter in terms of getting a shot away and getting a goal. Once again, I'm looking towards Mikel Arteta to platform his attackers better. When it comes to playing the whole positional play, of course holding width is very important. But you've got an overlapping fullback like Kieran Tierney on the bench, a profile far more suited to holding width, and firing and crosses on his left foot. Is using Trossard as a touchline winger the best way of maximising him? Surely a forward that is known for his finishing is better suited playing in the half spaces instead of the likes of Mikel Merino. You then look at the recent report from The Athletic, claiming that Arsenal have entered the race alongside Man United, Real Madrid and Liverpool into the free signing of Alphonso Davies this summer. Signing an overlapper needs to be a priority for Arsenal in the future. Whether it's a fullback or a number 8, our wide forwards are meant to be our goal scorers and best finishers. You think about Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool at their best. Mo Salah and Sadio Mane were both massive goal threats, but the reason why they were able to score so many goals is because Klopp allowed them to drift centrally, play as almost strikers, using his fullbacks as a way to provide the width. The questions over Martinelli's future are developing, and I definitely think they're a bit premature, but at a stage where Arsenal fans are being very critical, looking at their project and really assessing it. I get the demand for better, because nearly 5 years into your project, we also deserve better. Moving on to the fourth thing, useless signings. And when I say useless, what I mean is that we're not even using these players. I'm talking about Raheem Sterling, once again an unused sub. With his last Arsenal appearance coming all the way back against West, it's not that Sterling would have been the exact answer, but brought into Arsenal as an experienced winner, known for scoring important goals for Man City. We've seen Trossard and Martinelli both struggle on the left-hand side. So when you've got a player who's 29 years of age on the bench, if it wasn't against Monaco off the bench, and it's not against Everton when you need a goal, when is Sterling actually going to be used? Because it's still a player that if you give him time and minutes, he could find rhythm and he could be somewhat of a solution. Temporary it may be, but that's the whole point of signing players on loan. Sterling was brought in to be a finishing sub. In games that also needed goals, pace and goal scoring experience coming off the bench. But the last 2 games against Fulham and Everton, where Arsenal have been desperate to score a winner, Mikel Arteta has not looked at Sterling once. Now, of course, things could be happening behind the scenes. We don't know how Sterling's been training, but the question I have is, if you're not going to use him, why sign him in the first place? Why not have just kept Reece Nelson, who may have just gone injured, but had a very similar role in the first place, but was actually getting used off the bench? You then look at the right hand side, another game of Bukayo Saka trying to carry the team, an 8.3 rating, with 1 shot on target and 2 blocks, 4 out of 5 dribbles, 3 key passes and 1 big chance created. This guy is trying his best to get ourselves out of games, but with the lack of another killer in this team, someone to force the hand and make something out of nothing, I actually somewhat feel sorry for Bukayo. In a game that also created an XG of 1.5 and Everton only 0.17, we have to also talk about Kai Havertz dropping a 7.1 rating, and he might have completed 25 accurate passes and won 4 duels in the air, but with only 1 shot in the whole game. If you're going to beat a striker for Arsenal Football Club in games that we need to win, your striker needs to be firing off a lot more shots. For a lot of Arsenal fans, eyes are all turning to the January transfer window. The Arsenal attack right now is looking stale, in need of a boost and a change. If we are to have any ambitions this season, how we act in the January transfer window is going to be very important. Are we willing to get ourselves over the line, make a signing and force the hand, to give this team the boost that it so desperately needs? Moving on to the 5th thing, title race on pause. Having dropped points in the 2nd league game running, failing to beat both Fulham and Everton, not only was it painful because of the performance and the quality of football, but it was more because of Liverpool. Having gone down to 10 men against Fulham and drawn 2-2, dropped points in back-to-back games as well, we were once again not able to capitalise. Still 6 points off first place, with Liverpool also still having a game in hand, having now dropped 8 points in 16 games this season, when compared to last year we only dropped 10 in all 38. I'm not sure if this year is going to be a 90 plus point season. The title race is never decided in December, but at this current moment Arsenal are not in it. Put that stuff on pause until later in the season. Get back to your basics and win your games of football, then earn your right to be back in that race. On a day that you also had Arsenal owner Josh Kroenke in attendance. Watching an Arsenal side that they've invested over £600 million on, not even score against a team in the bottom half. Pressure is definitely building towards Mikel Arteta, with these being our next 6 games. Palace are home in the Carabao Cup, then Palace away in the league. Ipswich are home and Brentford away, then Brighton away, United at home in the FA Cup. It's not about being Mikel Arteta in or Mikel Arteta out, it's about sticking to our ambitions. This year was meant to be a year to go and win that league title. When you then see our biggest rivals in Man City win only 1 game in 10, Arne Slot's Liverpool have been fantastic, but at this stage of our project, it was meant to be the year for Arsenal to capitalise. I won't be hyperbolic in saying everything is over. The season is still long ahead and there will be twists, but for Arsenal right now, all they can focus on is the next step. Palace at home in a Carabao Cup quarter-final. With all the doom and gloom in the league right now, we need to win this game, because the Carabao Cup might not be the Premier League, but for a team that hasn't been able to get themselves over the line, winning a trophy could be massive. Not only in terms of self-belief, but also in terms of the fans. We've all been patient for a very long time, but at one point that needs to be worth it as well. You are allowed to criticise Mikel Arteta and not want him out tomorrow, but with pressure building and another poor result, winning this Carabao Cup quarterfinal has become that much more important. Talk to me down below in the comments though, what are your current thoughts on Arsenal and what do you think of Mikel Arteta? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you aren't. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 0, Everton 0, a really poor performance and a really poor result. We must bounce back on Wednesday, but for now my friends, hold tight, stay strong in these hard times, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care, in a bit.